Michael Chang. We're so excited to bring you the second series of the Michael Chang tennis series of lessons. And I'm gonna try really, really hard, but it might be a little bit tough to concentrate. As you can see, we're at an unbelievable place. We're at the Mauna Kea Resort here in Kona, Hawaii. Have a beautiful opportunity to be able to do all this shooting here, and we have a great series of lessons for you this year. So this year has been a little bit different. Very special segment on doubles with Ben McLaughlin, and also a very special physical training episode with Robbie Ohashi, who, as you may know, is also part of Team K. So we're really, really looking forward to this 2018 season, and hope you guys enjoy it, and we really, really hope it helps you improve your tennis. Well, I know that we covered grips last season, but some of you guys really wanted to get maybe a little bit more in depth on which grips to possibly use, what would be some of the advantages, and also what would be some of the disadvantages. So we're going to look at 3 of the most popular forehand grips. All right, let's take a look at the first grip. The first one's a continental forehand. One great thing about this grip, I can use it for my forehand, I can use it for my backhand, I can use it for my volleys, I can use it for my overhead, and I can even use it for my serve. So, very simple. It's gonna definitely travel a little bit lower, but you got good control. This is the grip that Jimmy Connors is using on his forehand. If I can mimic a right-handed Jimmy Connors, I can do a lot of different things. I can even drop shot. Come here, I can even drop shot there. And balls are going to be very, very flat. So you can tell it's a very controlled stroke. It's a very simple movement, and it's a very easy grip to learn. All right, the next grip we're going to look at is the other extreme, which is the Western grip. So if we've gone from a continental grip, a Western grip would be all the way over here. You say, well, why would people use a grip that's this far over? Well, for one reason, and really one reason only, is for them to hit an extreme amount of topspin. And we all know that when you're able to hit an extreme amount of topspin and do it very, very effectively, it's a very, very tough ball to handle. So you can see how much topspin that ball has, how much action it has. And the ball's bouncing a lot. So if my opponent's trying to handle that shot, instead of just a regular ball, if all of a sudden it's jumping a lot. And that's the purpose for people to be able to go out and have this Western topspin forehand. There are some negatives to also using a Western forehand grip. So one is that it becomes difficult for us to hit low balls. Why? Because when you're this over on your grip, you have to get under the ball. So the lower the ball is, the harder it is to get under the ball. A little bit harder to do. So you can definitely do it, but it takes a lot more footwork. You can't be lazy with your feet. You got to get up there to hit it. Now that we've looked at 2 of the 3 grips, then we have our semi-Western forehand. Most people actually on tour prefer using a semi-Western forehand. So let's take a look at what a semi-Western forehand would look like. So I can hit topspin with this one. I can hit flat. I can hit excessive. I can hit angle. And I can even hit a lob. So I got a lot of different varieties of shot that I can hit with the semi-Western forehand. So one of the questions that we actually got from last season was, what kind of drills can I actually do to help myself to become a better tennis player? I know some of you don't like to do a whole lot of drills, but I'm going to show you something that if you just change the way in which you warm up, it's already going to make you a better tennis player. So I know many of you warm up kind of short court. Kay does this a little bit as well. Sometimes you use it to feel your shots a little bit. But let's be honest. Sometimes we want to just warm up and chit-chat a little bit. Rio, how's school been going? Yeah?
Yeah, studying's pretty hard.
How's the social life? Any girlfriends?
No.
No girlfriends. Well, that's the end of that warm-up. All right, let's move on. Now we're going to get to the regular part of the warm-up. Wouldn't you say 99% of you come to the middle and you warm up in the middle? You rally. Hey, they do it on the tour when they're getting ready to play their matches, so I guess that's what we should be doing too. Which is true if you're getting ready to play a match, but if you want to practice, why not work on hitting away from the middle? Because when you play a match, do you want to hit every ball to the middle? Of course not. So what we would do is, okay, let's take a couple balls. Let's hit a little bit in the middle, just to warm it up. Get our feet going. Let's start changing it up. Okay, Rio, let's go cross-court forehands. Why do we want to start doing this? Because I want to start training this shot that I'm going to use in my matches. And the more you train them, the better you're going to hit. Now, you may start off and all of a sudden you may start off forehands, cross-court, and you're like, oh, I'm still used to hitting in the middle. In the middle where I can't get that ball over to the side. You say, well, gosh, how come I can't get it over? Well, you can't get it over because you don't practice it. So let's practice it. So let's go forehand, we go cross, all the way over. Okay, here we go. Say, okay, well that's starting to look good. How about the backhand side? So the same thing on the backhand side. Get that ball away from the middle. We want to get that ball all the way over. Now we can start working the corners a little bit. So I'm going to hit everything to Rio's backhand, and he's going to work me both forehand and backhand sides. You'll notice I don't want anything. Everything's in that backhand corner. So as I'm playing matches, that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't want to be hitting balls up the middle because that's where my opponent's going to be. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll go to the deuce side in the forehand corner. Yep. Now we start to work both sides, forehand and backhand. So work on the down the line shots, cross court, inside out. And this is very much going to simulate what a regular point is like. It's also a great workout. So I'm not only warming up the shots that I want to hit during matches, but I'm getting a good cardio workout as well. So you're not only getting yourself in better shape, but you're also learning to hit the corners. And all of a sudden you're saying, boy, you know what? The more I do this, the easier it's going to be in your matches. You know, when he's warming up with Dante and I, you know, it's really just trying to work, you know, each corner. You know, Dante would be on the forehand side. I'm always on the backhand side. You know, it's just a good way to continue to, you know, keep spreading out the court instead of just always warming up, you know, straight up the middle. So I was able to do that from the backcourt, you know, from the net, and then you know, then we'll mix in some serve returns, some serves. You know, maybe a couple of different specific things that we're going to use for that day. Probably the most casual practices ever. Whenever I see him, you know, getting ready for matches. I mean, his demeanor is very easygoing. I mean, he's trying shots that he wouldn't try in the match. I mean, he's just incredibly loose, and I don't know if that's just the overall mentality. Probably out of all the players, probably the most relaxed practices I've ever seen. Rafa is completely opposite. You know, Rafa is very intense, very purposeful. You know, trying to have a lot of high energy. Yeah, pretty much practicing the way that he goes out and plays. So that would be, you know, very similar to my frame of mind going in there and getting ready for matches as well. So as you guys all know, it's important to prepare your body to come out and play tennis. You know, we can't just come out and all of a sudden, you know, hitting great shots and sprinting left and right. We have to warm up our bodies properly. And Robbie this morning is going to help us to go through some of those dynamic stretches.
Today, let's warm up in a linear fashion. So first we're going to do is just a nice, easy jog forward to the cone and then a back pedal back. So as Michael does a nice, easy jog, he's been working all day, his body's stiff, he needs to get his heart rate going, he needs to get a light sweat. He's just going to be jogging forward and then backpedaling. And as you can imagine, a lot of these dynamic warm-ups, they start with bigger movements, nice and easy, and then we're going to get a little bit more explosive. Let's go into a skip, Michael. Nice big arms, getting his upper body involved now, and getting his body ready to play some good tennis. Good. Good. Turn, coming back. Big, big, big. Nice big arms.
See, I used to warm up like this all the time when I was like 5, 6 years.
I used to laugh at the old guys warming up this way, but now I do it all the time. And then let's do a couple stretches. Let's grab your ankle, reach back, nice and tall on one leg, reaching tall to the sky. Exhale as you get a good stretch through your left quad. And then let's do one on your right. Last one, we're gonna go here. Right hand down, left elbow touching the inner part of your left foot, and then you're reaching up, looking at your left hand as you rotate through your mid-back. We call this the world's greatest stretch because you're stretching anterior right hip, your thoracic spine, good. And then put both hands down and come back and stretch your left hamstring as you come back. There you go, stretching there. Nice. I always like to add a little bit of quick feet when we do our linear movements for warming up. Same idea, ready position, hips in place, and he's going quick. Good, quick, 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 time, good. Then your heart rate goes up, and you're ready for those quick twitch muscles so that you can get and start moving on the court right away.
Strangely enough, I'm actually quite excited to play them. I feel like every opportunity to play against a top-ranked player or to play against a player that I've never beaten before is another opportunity to beat him. So, you know, obviously I've made some different changes I've learned from previous matches. You know, I think everyone has a strength, everyone has a weakness, and it's your job to be able to find those and to be able to come out with the best game plan and work on your own game so that you can beat those players that you haven't beaten before.